There is a quiet power in composure that few truly understand, a power that once mastered separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. This power is not inherited, not handed out by the generous winds of fate. It is cultivated, it is forged, and it begins the moment you decide, deep within yourself, to act as if nothing bothers you. To act, not pretend, not deceive, but to act, with the full knowledge that every great transformation begins not with outer change, but with inner command. The greatest men and women in history, those who shaped nations, built empires, and lifted entire generations from despair, understood this one truth. You must master your reaction if you ever wish to master your destiny. Not because they were never tested, but because they trained themselves to appear unshaken even when the ground trembled beneath their feet. Now let me ask you, how many times have you been pulled away from your vision, your mission, your purpose, simply because of what someone else said or did? How many opportunities have been lost, not because you lacked the talent or the intelligence, but because you allowed something to bother you? What if I told you that the secret to success in any field, whether business, art, leadership, love, is the ability to keep moving forward while others are paralyzed by distraction, by offense, by petty irritations? Understand this. Acting as if nothing bothers you is not a form of weakness. It is the highest form of discipline. It is the mark of emotional intelligence. It is the symbol of a mind that has chosen its mission and refuses to be pulled off course. When a man acts as if nothing bothers him, he sends a message not just to others, but to his own subconscious. That message is, I am in control. Not the circumstances, not the critics, not the chaos. I am in control. And once you convince your mind of this, you awaken a power within that cannot be shaken by mere noise, because that's all most disturbances are. Noise. Gossip, noise. Disrespect, noise. Traffic, delays, the weather, someone else's mood, noise, noise, noise. But you are the signal. You are the steady frequency that keeps broadcasting purpose, vision, and unshakable calm. There is a fire that burns within the composed individual, a fire that does not rage, but glows with controlled, focused heat. That fire is ambition. That fire is intention. That fire is you. If only you will protect it from the winds of every passing annoyance. You must build your mind like a fortress. Guard the gates. Do not let every foolish comment, every glance, every moment of irritation come charging through the door. Because each time you react, you hand over a piece of your power. You dilute your energy. You delay your purpose. People think calmness is born from ease. But ease has never made a man great. No, calmness is born from challenge. It is born in the storm. It is born when you are tested, when the world tries to provoke you and you respond not with emotion, but with intention. Let others raise their voice. Let others panic. Let others gossip and complain. That is their choice. But you walk with purpose. You stand with calm. You choose silence when silence speaks louder than shouting. You choose action when others freeze. You choose to keep your eyes locked on the goal while others are hypnotized by distraction. The strongest men and women I have ever met were not loud. They were not frantic. They were not easily offended. No, they carried themselves with quiet certainty. They knew who they were. They knew what they were after. And because of that, they wasted no time on anything that did not serve their mission. You must begin to ask yourself every single day, does this serve me? Does this bother me enough to break my peace, delay my progress, shrink my confidence? And most of the time, if you are honest, the answer will be no. The words they said, not worth your energy. The disrespect, it reflects them, not you. The disappointment, part of the journey. Let it all roll off you like water off a stone. Let it fuel your fire, not distract from it. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you become magnetic. People don't understand it at first. They'll test you, they'll try to rattle you, but eventually they begin to admire you, respect you, trust you, because in a world of chaos, you have chosen clarity. Even when your heart is racing, even when your palms sweat, even when your instincts scream to retaliate, to defend, to react, you smile, you breathe, you act, because your mission is bigger than any moment of irritation. You are not a slave to mood, to gossip, to envy, to insult. You are a builder of dreams. You are a sculptor of your own destiny. And if you are to carve a masterpiece from your life, you cannot be disturbed by every speck of dust that lands on your chisel. The truth is, the world gives power to those who appear unfazed. Opportunities flow to the calm. Wealth flows to the focused. Relationships deepen with trust, and trust is born from stability, not reaction. So you must practice this, not once, not for a week, but every day, every hour. Practice it when someone cuts you off in traffic. Practice it when someone speaks over you in a meeting. Practice it when they doubt you, ignore you, dismiss you. Smile, think of your vision, take another step forward. Eventually, this will become natural. Your nerves will obey you. Your face will remain steady. Your decisions will rise above emotion. And those around you will begin to say, there's something about that person. I don't know what it is, but nothing seems to shake them. That something will be the power you've built, the kingdom you've constructed within, the fortress of thought, the engine of will, the calm in the storm. And when you get there, when you truly begin to act as if nothing bothers you, you'll realize most things were never worth bothering about in the first place. There is one thing you must understand if you are to wear the armor of composure every day. Your emotions are servants, not masters. They were never meant to steer the ship. They are signals, not commands. To act as if nothing bothers you does not mean you feel nothing. It means you choose to respond rather than react. Every time you react emotionally without control, you confirm to your mind that the outside world is stronger than you. But when you respond with poise, your mind begins to understand a new language, the language of leadership, the language of success. You become a person others look to when chaos erupts. Why? Because you've proven again and again that you are unmoved. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to shout it. You don't need to declare it. Real composure announces itself in silence, in restraint, in how you do not flinch when others would panic, in how you keep showing up when others give up. That is power, quiet power, and it echoes louder than any scream. Train your mind to default to calm no matter what is thrown at you. If someone lies about you, smile. If someone betrays you, breathe. If you are misunderstood, do not rush to defend yourself. Let your results speak. Let your character carry the weight of your truth. Because when you respond to every slight, you slow your progress. But when you act unbothered, you confuse your enemies and inspire your allies. You must understand the secret weapon of every successful individual is this: the ability to pause, the ability to stop, assess, and choose their next move. That pause is a shield. It protects your energy, your time, and your potential. Without that pause, the world pulls you in 1,000 directions. But with that pause, you move like a master, deliberate, focused, unstoppable. Now, there will be moments where you want to explode, where you feel the pressure build. That is normal. But what separates the great from the average is what happens in that moment. Do you release the pressure by reacting, lashing out, or complaining? Or do you channel that pressure into progress, into strategy, into execution? Let the pressure strengthen you. Let it remind you of your mission. Use it to build greater discipline, not greater drama. Every time you maintain your composure, you win, even if you don't see the result immediately, even if the world doesn't clap for you, because you have won over yourself, and that is the first and most important victory. You will notice over time your confidence grows, not from praise, but from consistency. Confidence built on inner mastery lasts. Confidence built on external approval fades. This world will test you with delay, with disrespect, with disappointment. And every test asks you one thing. Will you react or will you reign? Will you be led by emotion or will you lead it? That's the real battlefield, not the market, not the meeting room, not the competition. The real battlefield is the 6 inches between your ears. Conquer that, and the rest becomes strategy. You must become immune to the little things, immune to slights, immune to offense, immune to the shifting moods of other people, not because you're cold, but because you're focused, because your goals matter more than your ego, because your future is worth more than a reaction. And when you walk through life like that, when you carry yourself as someone who cannot be easily rattled, you create a magnetic field around you. People respect what they can't move. They admire what stays firm. And they gravitate to strength. The greatest leaders in history never needed to shout. Their presence alone commanded attention. And why? Because they had already won the battle of self. They had trained themselves to remain firm in the face of storms. They knew how to smile when others cursed. They knew how to walk calmly through fire. You must become that. You must train yourself in the unseen hours when no one's watching, when the frustration builds, when you feel overlooked. That is the gym where composure is built. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the silence of your daily discipline. You get cut off in traffic? Good. Practice unbothered. Your boss criticizes you unfairly? Good. Practice calm. A friend lets you down? Good. Practice grace, because these small daily tests prepare you for the larger battles. They build your mental armor one layer at a time, until one day you no longer have to act unbothered. This is the path of self-mastery. It is not loud, it is not flashy, but it is the path to freedom, because when nothing bothers you, nothing controls you. And when nothing controls you, everything becomes possible. Every day you must recommit to this mindset, not once, not when it's easy, but always. Especially when it's hard, especially when everything in you wants to snap, to shout, to surrender. That's when you double down. That's when you remind yourself, I am not here to be easily moved. I am here to move mountains. You will begin to notice something. When you stop reacting to noise, it starts fading. It loses its power over you. The drama dies when you don't feed it. The insults vanish when you don't chase them. The distractions fall away when you keep walking. And what's left is clarity, silence, and pure potential. Most people waste their energy on things that do not matter. They fight to be right. They fight to be heard. But you fight for your future. You fight for your peace. You fight for the power to stay focused no matter what. That is rare. That is powerful. That is what it means to act as if nothing bothers you. And here's something most will never understand. People don't test you because they hate you. Often they test you because they want to see if you're real, if you mean what you say, if you are truly what you present yourself to be. And when you act unbothered, with steady hands and a still mind, you pass the test. You don't pass it by reacting, you pass it by being. The world rewards composure, not because it's easy, but because it's rare. And anything rare becomes valuable. Now, let me say something that may surprise you. Acting as if nothing bothers you doesn't mean you ignore problems. It means you address them without emotion, without panic, without haste. You step into the issue, look it square in the eye, and handle it with clarity. You solve instead of sulk. You fix instead of fume. That is what it means to be in command. You want to build a business? You want to lead a team? You want to change your life? Then understand this. Energy is your most valuable currency. And every time you let yourself be thrown off course by what someone said, what someone did, or what didn't go your way, you spend that currency. Most people are broke not because they lack talent, but because they keep spending their energy on what doesn't matter. But not you. You save your energy for your vision. You save your energy for creation. You save your energy for execution. You don't waste it on gossip. You don't waste it on petty arguments. You don't waste it on trying to control what was never yours to control. You learn to sit with the discomfort. You learn to breathe through it, because strength isn't the absence of discomfort. It's the presence of will in spite of it. And when your will becomes stronger than your reaction, you step into power most people only dream about. Picture this. Storms all around, waves crashing, voices yelling, pressure mounting, and you, calm, clear-eyed, unshaken. That's not fantasy. That's discipline. That's a man or woman who decided long ago, I will not be mastered by emotion. I will not be led by fear. I will not lose myself in the noise. And you will find the more you train yourself to remain steady, the more control you regain, not just over your responses, but over your results. You start to see more, think clearer, act sharper, because your mind is no longer clouded by chaos. And let me tell you something else. People notice. They may not say it, they may not know how to describe it, but they feel it. They feel the stillness in you, the certainty, the way you don't flinch, don't fold, don't react the way everyone else does. That stillness becomes your presence, it becomes your strength, and it becomes your protection. Because when you are calm, people respect you. When you are calm, people listen differently. When you are calm, you control the atmosphere around you. People rise to your level or they walk away. Either way, your peace remains untouched. You must understand, every great endeavor will demand this of you. You cannot build something meaningful if you are constantly bothered by the meaningless. You cannot rise if you are always pulled down by distractions. You cannot create excellence if you are entangled in everything and anything. You must elevate your standards emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You must become hard to disturb, not cold, not distant, but focused, so rooted in your purpose that nonsense cannot find a place to land. And the more you carry yourself like this, the more your surroundings change. Toxic people fall away, clarity sharpens, opportunities that were hiding behind the noise begin to appear. You begin to attract what is aligned, not what is loud. But it starts with the decision to stop being bothered, the decision to no longer hand out your peace like it's cheap, the decision to reserve your reactions for what actually matters, and most things you'll realize don't. The road won't be perfect. There will be moments you slip. You'll feel the pull to defend, to respond, to strike back. But that's just a test. Every time you pass, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence, you sharpen your sword. Every time you remain calm, you train your nervous system to work for you, not against you. And soon, things that once ruined your whole day will barely register. Why? Because your tolerance for noise has dropped. Because you've decided you're not living at the level of irritation anymore. You're living at the level of intention. There's a quiet power in someone who doesn't need to prove anything, who doesn't chase drama, who doesn't respond just because they can. That's real strength. That's what leadership looks like. Not in titles or attention, but in composure, under pressure, over time. You want real confidence? It's built when you see yourself stay calm in a storm, when you witness your own restraint, when you walk away knowing you could have reacted and didn't. That's when your power becomes real to you. That's when you start walking differently. Because the one who acts as if nothing bothers him or her is not pretending. They've built themselves into a force, a still, unshakable force. And here's something few will tell you. When you truly begin to live unbothered, you no longer seek validation. You no longer need applause for your peace. You are no longer chasing recognition for your reactions or your restraint, because the reward becomes internal. You begin to feel the weight lift off your shoulders, not because the world changed, but because you changed how you respond to the world. And let me be clear, this is not about suppressing your truth. This is about mastering your response to your truth. When something hurts, feel it, but don't let it own you. When someone disrespects you, acknowledge it, but don't let it slow you. When life doesn't go your way, learn from it, but don't let it define you. People spend so much of their lives trying to make others behave better, speak nicer, treat them more fairly, and all the while they never see that the real power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling themselves. You can't stop the world from being chaotic, but you can stop yourself from being consumed by that chaos. Do you know how much time and potential is lost just reacting to nonsense? Every minor inconvenience, every rude person, every delay, it all adds up. 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, whole days ruined because someone looked at you wrong or said something off. But once you take back your control, once you train yourself to act as if nothing bothers you, you begin to reclaim your time, your energy, your focus. You begin to see clearly. And clarity is rare. Clarity is power. When you are clear on who you are, where you're going, and what you stand for, the noise of the world becomes background music. It may play, but it does not lead the dance. And here's a truth few are willing to confront. Many people like to be bothered. They wear their offense like a badge. They live for the drama, the argument, the gossip, the emotional ping-pong of constant irritation. Why? Because it gives them something to do, something to feel. It gives them a momentary sense of significance. But that is not the path of builders. That is not the path of warriors. That is not the path of the focused. You must choose. Will you be someone who reacts to everything, or someone who creates something that lasts? Because the people who build anything of value, businesses, legacies, relationships, movements, they do not have time to be bothered. Their minds are too occupied with possibility. Their calendars are too full of progress. Their thoughts are too aligned with purpose. If you truly want to rise, you must stop asking, why did they do that to me? And start asking, why did I give that the power to affect me? That's the shift. That's when you take responsibility for your state, for your focus, for your peace. Not because you're weak, but because you're done giving your energy to things that don't grow you. You weren't born to react to every inconvenience. You weren't born to be fragile, to be easily moved. You were born to be steady, born to carry something bigger than opinion, offense, and irritation. But that version of you will not emerge by accident. You must forge it daily. And each time you face a moment where you want to explode and instead choose calm, you are forging it. Each time you want to lash out but instead stay grounded, you are building it. Each time someone tries to pull you into the mud and you choose to keep walking, you are becoming that force that nothing can move. And here's the deeper truth. When you stop being bothered, people notice not just your calm, but your confidence. Because it takes real self-worth to not react. It takes inner certainty to not defend. It takes power to say, I will not let this moment define me. I will define myself. And don't think people won't test it. They will. The moment you begin to carry yourself with poise, the world will send distractions your way. People, events, triggers. Why? To see if you're real. But every time you stay centered, every time you act as if nothing bothers you, you pass the test and you rise a little higher. That's how leaders are made. Not in loud moments, but in quiet victories. Not when the spotlight is on, but when no one's watching. And you choose calm over chaos. You see, emotional control is the foundation of greatness. It is the discipline that makes all other disciplines possible. You can't be strategic if you're emotional. You can't think long term if you're reacting short term. You can't build empires if you're arguing with everyone who doubts you. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. You move forward with grace, with focus, with fire. Because when you act as if nothing bothers you, you are not being fake. You are being free. Free from emotional slavery. Free from the need to always be right. Free from the addiction to conflict. Free from the drama that eats up your potential. That's the path you're on now, the path of the focus, the calm, the relentless. The one who's no longer moved by everything because they're too busy moving towards something. And here is where the shift becomes permanent. When you realize that not reacting does not mean you don't care. It means you care about the right things. It means you've chosen to care more about your mission than about every momentary irritation. You care more about your growth than someone else's opinion. You care more about peace than pride. You begin to take full control of your emotional thermostat. You no longer let the outside world determine the temperature of your inner world. Whether it's cold glances or heated words, you stay at your setting, steady, consistent, deliberate. Because when you're led by principle instead of provocation, your life begins to transform. You'll see it everywhere. Situations that once would have drained you now pass through you like wind through an open window. You don't cling to insults. You don't collect offenses like trophies. You don't rehearse conflicts in your mind 100 times. You have too much to build, too much to give, too much to become. And let me remind you, acting unbothered is not arrogance. It is not aloofness. It is clarity. It is knowing where your power lies and refusing to hand that power over to circumstances, critics, or chaos. This kind of power is magnetic. Why? Because everyone around you is overwhelmed, overstimulated, overreacting. They've normalized the tantrum. They expect you to join the emotional circus. But when you don't, when you stand still in the middle of all that noise, You become something they can't ignore. You become what they wish they could be. And some people won't like that. Some people will try harder to trigger you. They'll press every button they can find. Why? Because your peace confronts their chaos. Your calm exposes their instability. Your silence reveals how loud they've become. But none of that is your burden to carry. Your only job is to stay in control of you. You must develop a mindset that says, I refuse to let temporary people create permanent damage in my spirit. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not every invitation to conflict deserves an RSVP. You will lose nothing by staying silent, and you'll gain everything by staying focused. Look at every moment of irritation as a training ground, every offense as a new opportunity to grow stronger, every distraction as a doorway to deeper discipline. This is how you reframe your life. This is how you rise. Because the higher you go, the more you'll be tested, not less, more. The more you win, the more noise you'll attract. And that's okay, because if you've trained yourself to act as if nothing bothers you when no one was watching, you'll be able to stand strong when everyone is watching. That's how pressure turns to power. That's how heat turns to resilience. And here's something even deeper. When you master the art of staying unbothered, you begin to lead others by example. You don't even have to speak. Your presence teaches. Your calmness gives others permission to breathe. Your self-control inspires others to search for their own. You're not just walking unshaken. You're showing others what it looks like to walk free, free from emotional slavery, free from chasing every insult, free from losing hours to something that should have lasted seconds. And as your strength grows, your circle will shift. Those who thrive on drama will drift. Those who need chaos to feel alive will fall away. And in their place, you'll attract builders, thinkers, leaders, people who respect peace, who value calm, who are committed to the long game. Because you're no longer operating at the level of reaction, you're operating at the level of creation. Your mindset becomes, I didn't come here to argue, I came here to execute. I didn't come here to be liked, I came here to lead. I didn't come here to respond to every wave, I came to make waves. And when you reach that level of self-possession, when your energy is no longer tossed around by every breeze, you become a different kind of dangerous, a different kind of powerful, not loud, not aggressive, just anchored, just focused. And the world will feel it. Your absence from chaos will be louder than most people's presence in it. You'll find that you start solving more problems by saying less. You start opening more doors by staying silent. You start winning more battles by simply walking away, because every minute you spend being bothered is a minute you didn't spend becoming better, and that's a trade you no longer make. You've become too intentional for that. You begin to measure your day by how well you managed your energy, not by how much drama you survived. You take pride in your restraint, not in your reactions. And slowly but surely you build something stronger than any enemy, any insult, any inconvenience. A mind that cannot be shaken. That is the work. That is the reward. That is what it truly means to act as if nothing bothers you. So the next time life throws you a curveball, the next time someone underestimates you, disrespects you, talks behind your back, or tries to rattle your spirit, remember this. You don't have to flinch. You don't have to explain. You don't have to stoop. Because you are no longer moved by noise, you are moved by purpose. Let the storms rage, let the doubters doubt, let the world keep spinning in confusion. You walk forward, head high, mind steady, heart clean. You act as if nothing bothers you, not because you feel nothing, but because you've chosen power over panic, discipline over drama, mission over emotion. You've trained your spirit to be still in the chaos, your mind to be calm in the fire, your voice to be silent when silence speaks louder than rage ever could. And in that silence, in that stillness, you become unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So walk out of here today not waiting for the world to change, but being the one who cannot be changed by the world. Act as if nothing bothers you, and watch how everything begins to move in your favor. That's the real power. That's the edge. And now it's yours.